This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff without Alex.
He's on call.
Oh, poor guy.
He's not here. Uh, who,
Workers work.
who knows what Alex is into now? Fingers deep, wrist deep, elbow deep.
Muff, we can't talk about his kink like that.
This
And
is
we're off to the races.
Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Today is Monday, September 30th, and Jim and I are locked in a fantasy football matchup. Not much of a matchup this week, Jim.
No,
Not the best week for you, and
no.
my best week thus far.
My team needs an overhaul severely.
Have to go back to drawing board.
Yeah.
If you were to
Yeah.
liken your team to any college or let's go NFL team right now. What would you
It
liken your NFL
it
team?
it'd probably be the Jaguars.
So much
Yeah.
promise, so much hope, and just have underperformed.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna break down college football, NFL action, give out our college football winners and losers of the week.
Excited for that.
Interested to see where that goes. I've not looked ahead too much to see what others are thinking. One thing I do know is in the college football world, we are about to enter October. Army's undefeated, Navy's undefeated. The Indiana Hoosiers are undefeated in the sport of football, and BYU is undefeated, and it's not in quaking.
I don't you guys are
Hey,
setting this up and it's like horrible. Like what I don't know where to go with this show right now.
Nate, thoughts?
yeah, I mean, to say that we're soaking is undefeated is kind of odd, but it was a pretty moist weekend outside. So,
Thanks to everybody that's interacting with our content on social media at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
And don't forget about our betting episodes happening weekly throughout the football season. They come out on Thursday mornings to help you understand what you're going to do with your bank account over the weekend and maybe or maybe not cash out. Up the big
Big money
monies.
promos.
What's that?
Big money promos. Caesars.
Toss any other buzzwords in the sports betting world right now?
No.
Parlays,
Parlay.
best bet, action,
Get it.
deposit, bonus,
That's bonus. Opt in.
risk free, $1,000 bet. That'll bring us into NFL Week 4. First, Brett Favre revealed that he has recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Caught it so early, the doctor said, "What brought you in here?" And he said his arm kept coming and getting stuck and he'd have to push it down. And the doctor was like, reasons that this is, if you don't have it genetically, typically the start of this is head trauma. And he was like, duh, I'm the poster child for head trauma. Literally, those were his words. And I was like, well, Brett, at least you know what's up.
Yeah, I'm glad he went to the doctor and didn't just go with Tommy Copper to fix this issue.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that progresses for Mr. Favre. In Thursday night football action, we had the Cowboys taking on the Giants, and the Cowboys get the W 20-15. Brandon Aubrey misses a field goal in the final minute that lost a lot of people money. I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of the public bets were on the Cowboys to cover in this one. It was Aubrey's first career miss in 17 attempts from 50 plus yards.
Yeah, that hurt us. That hurt me big.
After this game, the Giants have stated that Daniel Jones will not be the starter in their next game, and Drew Lock is going to be taking the snaps.
I don't think it's much better.
It's much cheaper.
I mean, you're still paying the man.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I don't think
what are you
anybody's going
gonna
to
do?
pick up that contract either.
No. No.
Anything on the Cowboys? Does make us feel any differently about them?
No.
No, I mean, I still think they're unproven.
I I don't think they're good.
I don't either.
Like I wouldn't even go so far as unproven. They're just not good.
No, but I mean, right now, I mean, it's to just survive in advance for them, I guess.
We don't think they're good in September. Nothing's going to get better from here,
No.
given the historic performance of the Cowboys.
They can't run the ball. He spent so much money on the wrong parts. Like I don't, but like there's nothing like you can't get rid of him. You can't like you're stuck with Jerry. So
Well,
Cowboys gonna be Cowboys.
well, and they haven't been able to stop the run the past 2 weeks, and then when you play the Giants, they can't really run or pass.
So you got what you got.
Jim's
Mhm.
favorite player, Micah Parsons, right now.
Yeah, he's getting cut this week from my team.
He's also potentially hurt, so I think that may also be a contributing factor to him being cut from your team, in addition to his pedestrian performance. Moving on to Sunday football. First, the Falcons take down the Saints 26-24 as Young-Ho Koo hits a game-winning 58-yard field goal for the Falcons. The Saints have now lost 2 in a row after starting 2-0 and like a house on fire. Saints fully cooled down.
Kamara's banged up. I mean, he got the points for my fantasy team, but he's banged up. They're trying to limit him in practices during the week, but like the wheels are starting to fall off on the guy. So you can only get so much out of him. Alave is getting touches, but like again, there's another one that's getting banged up. They just have these weapons that don't have a lot of shelf life on them. So what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know.
Falcons now 2-2. Is that right?
Yes.
Who's better right now, Falcons or Saints? I mean, obviously the Falcons beat them today, but say long term, do we think the Falcons will end up with a better record or the Saints will end up with a better record?
I think the Falcons went up with a better record because I have way more faith in Kirk than I do in Derek Carr.
Jim?
I think the Falcons will pull it out.
I agree. Next, the Bears take down the Rams 24-18 as Caleb Williams gets the win, but it was the rushing attack along with the defense that got the job done in this one. The Rams continue to just be down weapons, right? No Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. I think they're on their second tight end. Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford are the only, I think, starting offensive tools in that toolbox from week one.
Yeah, it's like watching like a small town high school team that you know they got a couple weapons and nothing else around them.
Yeah.
This is Caleb Williams win number 1, correct?
2. I don't know. The screen said 1 and 2. And I was trying to figure out who that first one was too.
Hold, please.
That was one of those games that the defense won the game for him. I forget what it was. This is, I would say, the first one that maybe he had some hand in the fact that they won.
They won week 1 against the Titans.
Right, yeah. When Will Levis was shoveling passes to the Bears. So, we'll see. I mean, we talked about this before the season started. The Bears have all of the supporting cast to create at least a good situation for Caleb Williams. He's not going to be asked to win the game every week. So this is about, I think, how we would have expected this to start.
I again say he is on track for what the Bears are asking him to do. Like I watched part of this game. He didn't look bad. Like there's a lot of meat on the bone there to make him something. if they manage the team right, if they keep equipping him with the right pieces. Now, what I think's weird is like, is he Joe Burrow when Joe Burrow was a rookie, or Herbert or Stroud? I don't know. I honestly, and I think that's what the world kind of looks at, is like, because he had so much hype coming out and he was such a diva and he is an enigma where he paints his nails. There's so much weird buzz on him that like nobody wants to put him up in that air. But like playing ability, he's not terrible. So I I want to hate him because like the media makes me want to hate him, but he's not bad.
No, I just think there's a lot of pressure on him because of his college prowess and being the number one overall pick. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
It is. It is. But like I said, they have some of those pieces there. Jordan Love returns for the Packers and leads them on a late run, but they can't catch up as the Vikings take down the Packers 31-29. Vikings improve to 4-0 with Sam Darnold at the helm.
Saw highlights of this too. I think the tape on this revealed like the Vikings aren't perfect. Like if you blitz a lot, if you have a strong defensive front, Sam Darnold has some chinks to his armor, and that's what the Packers did in that comeback. Like they smacked him around a little bit and rattled him, and he started looking not like Superman anymore. So it was interesting to watch.
Yeah, Jordan Love came out slow. Did not,
Yeah,
didn't
but I
get into
mean,
it right away. They lost Christian Watson in this game. I don't know for how long. So there was a lot that he was adjusting to within that first quarter or two. And the second half is when the Packers really brought it on. I think they scored like pretty much the last like three touchdowns. I think were them, with the Vikings had a field goal mixed in there.
Yeah, I just remember looking at one point, I think it was 28-7 in favor of the in favor of the Vikings.
Yeah. So I think it's a good return for Jordan Love. I mean, they
yeah.
didn't get the win, but he seemed to get more comfortable and play well as the game went on, which is what you expect for somebody that's been out for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they're only 0-2 with him as a starter and 2-0 with Malik. So
Whatever. Colts, Steelers. The Colts take down the Steelers 27-24. Colts jump out to an early 17-0 lead. And whether the Steelers storm in the second half to secure this victory, Anthony Richardson, it only took 4 games as he went out in this one after what is appearing to be a hip injury. He went out for the rest of a series. Joe Flacco came in, and then Richardson came back in. On the first play he was back in, he scrambled. It looked like a designed run and re-aggravated or further aggravated whatever that hip injury was, took him out for the rest of the game.
Is this guy not like the epitome of stupid?
I almost, if it was a designed run, I have major questions about the offensive staff. Do we just want Joe Flacco to get in there and play?
I guess. I mean he wins ball games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. This one overall, I mean, Justin Fields had a solid second half in leading the comeback, but this is the first game for the Steelers this season where they had multiple poor decisions, and they had a Zach Frazier snap when Fields wasn't ready for it in the last play or the last series of the game for the Steelers that put them way off schedule, like second or third and 22 um, in their final drive, and they just weren't able to get that. They also had Justin Fields with a fumble on a play around midfield where he ran backwards for 10 yards and was trying to make something happen, put the ball on the ground. So a lot of opportunities for the Steelers lost in this one. The Colts jumped out early, and Steelers just couldn't catch up. Say la vie, 3-1 Steelers.
I like Najee Harris's post-game interview. They kept asking him about Fields, and he finally said, there are 11 others of us. Like it's not just him. Like I think we all are growing and developing. I think that's a good mentality for the Steelers. Like let's get away from this quarterback bullshit. Both guys are good. We're gonna get there. Stop worrying about it.
Indeed, Jalen Warren was out for the Steelers, and Cordero Patterson went out in this game as well. So they were on Najee Harris and a running back that was just called up from the practice squad this week in the backfield alongside Justin Fields. Next, the Broncos take down the Jets 10-9 on a rainy day in New Jersey. The Broncos outlast the Jets. Both teams missed field goal attempts down the stretch. The Jets missing one that would have put them up with less than a minute left. The Broncos continue to be competitive week to week. And Jim, I will tell you this, they may be a good candidate to always bet when they are underdogs getting points.
Good to know. Good to know.
I'm pretty sure they've covered every week. Other thoughts? I don't know if you got to watch any of this, Jim.
I didn't get to see any of it
Yeah,
for some reason.
that's about all I saw. Was it was on after the Steelers game, and I saw the final drive when the Jets got into field goal range and they missed the field goal. So
Yeah,
the
I don't. Ugh.
Bucks take down the Eagles 33-16. Baker Mayfield had himself a day, Nate. How you feeling about the Bucks?
Good rebound game after his shit performance last week. Um, Mike Evans finally got back on track with a touchdown, and I think Tampa kind of owns Philly as of late. But Philly was also without AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, and Lane Johnson, I believe, was also out.
Right, the
I think
Eagles. Go
I
ahead,
think a
Jim. Sorry.
bigger question is how do you feel about the Tom Brady Baker Mayfield drama?
It's irrelevant.
Tell the listeners what the drama is, Jim.
Apparently, Baker said that, and this is summation, that when Tom was in the locker room, shit was too stressful and uptight. And then Tom gets on because he's on the booth and is basically like, but we won. And life might be stressful, but when you're getting rings, that's stress. And I was like, ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, I think those two have two different mentalities in the game of football.
Yeah.
Believe, yeah, 100%. The Bengals get their first win of the season as they take down the Panthers 34-24. Chase Brown has 2 touchdowns on the ground for the Bengals, while Jamar Chase grabs a long touchdown pass from Joe Burrow. Panthers stay competitive. Week 2 with Andy Dalton.
It makes you wonder more. Is it Bryce Young or what?
Are there any other options?
I don't know. Unless the players definitely didn't like. I don't know. The players not play as hard for him.
That could definitely be it. I mean, Deontay Johnson, the receiving core, and this is without Adam Thielen as well, who's on IR, that the Panthers are still able to put up points. The Bengals are obviously pretty heavy favorite in this game. So is this cause for optimism for the Bengals, or are we just saying this is what you were supposed to do? Now move on and do it again next week?
That.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on, Texans take down the Jaguars 24-20. The Texans come back and score in the final minute, put the Jags to an 0-4 start. Joe Mixon was a late scratch for the Texans. Jim, how do you feel about your team?
I'm gonna take the Penn State route. Survive and move on. They had Nico Collins scoring. Tank Dell was out. Joe Mixon was late scratch. Survive and move on. Like it was an ugly game, but take what you can get.
Win's a win.
Yep.
The Commanders
Bum,
Bum,
bum.
bum, 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 bum.
Put a whooping on the Cardinals, 42-14, as the Commanders get their second straight win. Bounce attack in this one, which included 4 rushing touchdowns. The Cardinals now 1-3 after optimism was there to start the season as Kyler Murray was going to be the starter.
Commanders are hot right now.
Feels funny even hearing it.
The Commanders are winning football games. There's hope.
I mean, they just look really good lately. I mean, do they punt this week?
Based on that score, very minimal, I would imagine.
No, I'll check up on that. Because that'd be what, 3 weeks in a row? Or is it just 2?
Think just 2. Definitely was last week. Neither team's really punted last week, correct?
No, there were no punts last
No
week.
punts last week in the Bills-Commanders game. In other afternoon action, we had the 49ers taking down the Patriots 30-13. Deebo Samuel returned for the 49ers, while Christian McCaffrey is maybe somewhere in Germany figuring out how he's going to
Celebrate Oktoberfest.
I mean, while he's over there. Although everybody says that he treats his body like very much a temple, and I don't know if that's part of the prescribed diet. But 49ers get the win. George Kittle with a touchdown. In Patriots land, how long do you think it's going to take before we see Drake May take the snaps for New England?
If they keep losing sooner rather than later, but
I don't know if I agree. I think they might ride it all the way out.
I think there'll be some noise not only from the fans but maybe from ownership. If
But
they
I think it's ownership's plan.
if
I
they
think he's
if they stay somewhat competitive and flirt around 500, I don't know if he gets in. But if they start going like 5-6 games under 500, I think the noise is going to be there to put him in.
I don't know. I think it's. I can't definitively say. I'll give you that much.
If we could make some money off that, Jim, but we
Yeah.
can't. The Raiders take down the Browns 20-16. Deshaun Watson, another less than stellar performance. How many weeks until he gets the hook in Cleveland?
Who's the backup? Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
that's a bigger.
Jameis.
I think this one's easier. I think it's like 1 to 2 more weeks.
Yeah, if they keep losing, I think Cleveland's going to self implode.
Well, I mean, this is business as usual. It's just there's higher expectations coming into the year.
Yeah, because I mean they got the playoff win a couple years ago and whatever, and they've got some star names out there now that have done well with other franchises. So, like you said, the expectations there. So that's why I'm thinking they'll self implode if they keep losing.
Yeah, that's true. I think Nick Chubb, they opened up his practice window to potentially
Yeah,
come
so
off IR.
so he's got like 3 weeks of practice in order to be activated, or he's done for the season.
Yeah. So we'll see if that puts any type of boost of hope into the team, thinking that he may be coming back in the next few weeks. But Browns is the Browns, and the Raiders get the win. And in the premier matchup of the afternoon slate, we had the Chiefs taking on the Chargers, and the Chiefs stay undefeated, move to 4-0, and take down the Chargers 17-10. Travis Kelce has his first big game of the season, and Kareem Hunt gets a bulk of the carries in his first game action this year. Again, the Chiefs improved to 4-0, but likely are going to be without Rashee Rice for what may be the rest of the season after he suffered a knee injury and MRI pending on Monday.
Oh, elevate some practice squad player, and he'll be the next big thing.
Seems to be how they do it. Xavier Worthy, another big game for the Chiefs. I think he had around 100 yards and a touchdown.
Well, if he's going to have to be the guy as a rookie, I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And then, with Kelce there, I don't know, they're going to need Justin Watson or some number 3 to step up and take away some of these defenders or whatever, so guys can get more one-on-ones. But Chiefs are going to chief.
Jim, any conspiracy on this game?
No, I honestly don't think the Chiefs are that good. I think they won't make it to the big show. I think they're going to need a lot more finding their rhythm, if you will.
Okay. And in Sunday Night Football, the matchup of the week, Bills at the Ravens. Our live look-in says
7-0 Ravens. Derrick Henry took like a 90-some yard carry to the house.
and that's how it starts. See, is it raining in Baltimore?
I can't tell by watching on TV, but I'm going to say yes. I'm trying to look at players' helmets to see if I can see like water beating up on the helmets. Can't really tell in the replays they keep showing.
All right. Who do we think takes this one? Jim.
What's the score?
Currently 7-0 Baltimore.
I got Baltimore.
Nate?
I think Baltimore.
Yeah, give me the Ravens in Baltimore to take this one in a close one, settled by 3 or less points. And in Monday Night Football NFL action, we have 2 games, count them 1-2 games this week. Titans at the Dolphins in the Toilet Bowl. Do we know who's starting for the Dolphins at quarterback?
Huntley?
Tyler Hunt.
Is
Huntley?
it confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Snoop Huntley starting for the Dolphins against, we expect Will Levis to ride this game out unless stupid things continue to happen for him. But the big matchup on Monday Night Football is the Seahawks at the Lions. Who do we have winning this game?
I think the Lions get this one at home.
Jim?
Lions.
I agree. Give me the Lions in Detroit at Monday Night Football. Any other thoughts on the NFL this week?
Nah, games aren't that great.
All right, moving along to college football week 5. Is this week 5 officially?
If you count week 0 as a week.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be week 5 if you don't count
Yeah.
week 0.
No, I think it's week 5 generally. I think it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's a week ahead of the NFL in weeks. Either way, neither here nor there. Alex has nothing to talk about this week, even though he's not here. WU does play at Oklahoma State.
No. They count week 0 as week 1. So this is week 5. I'm looking right at it, Muff.
I just said I don't. This is week 5. I think they call college football calls this week 5.
Yes,
So it's
they do.
a week ahead of the NFL.
Yes, so this is week 5 because they count week 0 as week 1.
I don't think that's true. That they don't count week 0 as week 1.
They do. I just said it.
I understand you said it, but I don't think it's true.
I think we're arguing the same thing, Muff.
We potentially are.
It's not
WU.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then why do we have week 0?
I don't think it's week 0. I think it's just week 1.
Nate?
I think we just refer to it as week 0 because no one worth a shit plays.
Right.
That's probably true.
Because week 1 was Florida State and Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah, like I said, nobody that gives a shit plays.
That was week 0.
That's week 0.
But they call it week 1.
Who does?
College football.
Then why does everyone else call it week 0?
I don't know.
I'm saying we're at week 5. Neither here nor there.
We're week 5.
WU plays at Oklahoma State next week. So Alex and I will not be going to a football game. I mean, based on how Oklahoma State's been playing, I expect this to be a good game, even though WU's traveling.
I think the spread is funky. I think it's like 7.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, I think, has dropped 2 in a row.
No longer ranked.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good spot for WVU, I think.
Yeah, looking at a preseason, this was a game that you probably expect them to maybe play okay and lose, but now it's probably a pick 'em in my mind.
So Jim, take WVU plus the points.
Oh, it's 5.5. I'm sorry. I am looking at W plus the points. You are correct.
All right, moving to Ohio State, took on Michigan State. Jim?
Covered the spread, looked good. Defense, slow start. Had inklings of defenses of the past. Then the second half came out and was like, oh, okay, there we are. Cannot play like that. Needed to wake up quickly.
What was the issue on defense that you're referring to?
Just let them go down and march on you. I mean, a couple turnovers go a different way, and that you're looking at a 21-17 game before it gets out of hand. I mean, like, Michigan State marched on them the first three times they had the ball. Like, cannot play like that. This bend but don't break bullshit is not going to work when you go up against Penn State, Michigan, Oregon. Not
It's
gonna work.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Is there worry in Columbus about Michigan?
I mean, I think the rivalry is always going to be there.
Yeah. All right. Taking on Iowa next week, hosting
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah,
How do we feel about that matchup?
a little bit more worried than Michigan State, but not overly concerned.
So the worry.
A little.
Yeah, what's causing a little bit more of a worry?
Their defense.
Should be their offense this year. Watch out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. Only based on the points they've been putting up that they haven't put up in years past. That's the only reason I say that. And lastly, for our teams, in a ranked matchup of Big Ten teams, Penn State beats Illinois 21-7 in a game that was predicated by Penn State running the ball most of the time at any point they wanted to. In a game that Illinois typically beats other teams at in the ball control the clock game, Penn State beat Illinois at that game. In this one, survive in advance, get away from an Illinois team that can cause different matchup concerns. Penn State takes it down, gets the win. Moving on to next week, hosting UCLA.
Yeah, that should be an easy one for you, I think.
It should be. It should be. They don't have to travel, so it's even better. UCLA has been not good. Any other thoughts, questions, Nate? Either of these games?
No, I keep getting distracted by this game. I don't know what the heck's going on. This is the second time that the officials have walked the center for the Bills off the sideline. I don't know what the hell is going on.
All right.
Must be
1 second.
Must be looking concussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. That independent neuro, whatever, pulled him out of the game, and then they gave him his helmet back and he went back in. But I don't know if he got clearance to come back in or not. That's the conversation.
Got it. Another top 25 action in college football. Number 1, Texas beats Mississippi State 35-13.
Slow start. They won. Good for them.
Yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see what happens with them when they get Quinn Ewers back.
Yeah, I think they'll hit on all cylinders then.
Are they going to go with a 2-quarterback system?
No.
Okay. In the game of the week, go ahead, sorry.
The difference in style, I think, they can't do 2 quarterbacks with those two.
In the game of the week, in a game that didn't look like much of a game at halftime, number 4, Alabama takes down the Bulldogs of Georgia 41-34.
I think we might have a front runner for Heisman.
Oh my Christ, who?
Jalen Milroe.
Jim, who's ahead of him?
No, I thought we were going to talk about that freshman receiver. I
No,
thought that's where you were headed. I was like, I will flip a table. I can't knock Jalen Milrow. I can't. I think it's a fair estimate.
I mean, in a
No,
big game like that, he throws for 300 plus and rushes for another 100 some.
yeah, I think that I think what I don't like about the outcome, like the aftermath of this game, is this resurgence of Bama's back, Bama's great, Bama's amazing. I eh, okay. Or did you catch Georgia like asleep? Like, are they not?
I don't think Georgia was caught asleep. This is the Georgia can't. Kirby Smart has not been able to beat Alabama, and the thought was new coach. It's Kirby's time to take down Bama, and Bama just came out and smoked them in the first half, and then Georgia made it a game, like had it tied up, and then Jalen Milrow let him right down the field. So
I don't think Bama does it again. I think you run it back again. I don't think it happens again. I just don't.
that's why we play the game.
I think I'm interested to see how Bama plays out the rest of their schedule.
I think they have a like SEC easy schedule.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their schedule is,
I
but
love how we have to quantify that too. SEC easy schedule.
well, I know they said, I think it was Georgia still has to go to Ole Miss, to Texas, and hosts Tennessee.
Yeah, probably. Sounds right.
Uh, Bama does have to play Tennessee and Missouri along with LSU. So not an easy schedule. They still got to go through the gauntlet. So lots of opportunity for them to get a loss at some point in there. But I mean, this is a good win that if Bama is a two-loss team, it helps them get into the playoff if their losses against like Tennessee and Missouri.
Bama's got to go through uh Vanderbilt this weekend, which okay. South Carolina, Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU. Then they got their cakewalk game that they always have with Mercer. Then Oklahoma, and then Auburn.
I'm not worried about Oklahoma Auburn at the end of that one.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't count out the rivalry week.
I don't know.
Not worried about it. Who should be worried right now are the Running Rebels of Ole Miss as the Wildcats of Kentucky take them down 20-17. Jackson farts.
Man,
No,
you are such an I don't even know the word for you right now.
what?
Jackson
Hater?
farts.
Jackson farts no longer in the Heisman race, in my opinion.
It wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great game. I think Lane Kiffin became Lane Kiffin again. Like it wasn't he let some of his analytics show and it wasn't the greatest. The missed field goal hurt. Could be he laid it all on the line. I don't know. I think now he's into the dog end of the schedule. Like now he's got to go through South Carolina, tough game. I think it'll be a tough game for them. LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas is not going to be easy. Georgia, and then you got the Florida, Mississippi State. But like we're talking about the next 5 weeks, a bunch of tough tests for Ole Miss.
It's SEC, baby.
So
What do you expect in the next 5 weeks? What will the record be? In those 5 weeks, 3-2, 4-1.
4-1. I can't see him getting past Georgia. Not the way they play Kentucky.
Oh no, that's the second time Kentucky's had a good showing.
Yeah,
Almost
Georgia.
almost beat Georgia in Lexington, and then they come out and beat Ole Miss on the road.
Yeah.
Watch out I mean, I'm not the only one. I thought Kentucky was just going to be poop all season, and they have proven me wrong, very much so, in the last
But
couple
like,
weeks.
I think if Ole Miss goes down there and like gets punched in the mouth by South Carolina early, you might as well pack it up. The season's over, in my opinion. Like that's the kind of mentality that team has, and that's kind of like mentality Lane has. Like I don't see him as a rebound kind of guy. He doesn't have the discipline of the Kirby Smarts and the Sabans. Like he's a hype guy. He lives on the hype train. If he gets knocked in the mouth, he's just not a guy who can take a punch.
I think Nate said this. Is he ready to pack his bags and head south, Nate?
He just might be. The grass might be greener for him down in Florida.
Head into the swamp.
I love the guy. I would just hate like, that'd be such his colors. That'd be horrible.
Number 7, Miami barely squeaks by Virginia Tech 38-34. Um, Controversial call to end the game, although many are saying that was a correct call. The call in the field on a Hail Mary was a Virginia Tech touchdown. It was reversed. How
I
do we
thought it was a
feel?
correct call.
Yeah, that's pretty much the thought is the call was right. It's how it got there. Like where was
Oh
the
yeah.
evidence? Where was the evidence to overturn the call was the concern. So if it was called the other way, what would they have done?
I think yeah, I thought all weekend and all the games I watched, the officiating is confusing. And that's the nicest way I'll put it. And from talking to Nate, like you make the call and then let the booth sort it out. There was a lot of that.
Well, in a
And
game that big, you're always going to have replays. So no matter what you have there, that play was getting reviewed.
yeah,
It's almost like the NFL now where all scoring plays are reviewed anyway. That's why I think it's such a challenge for the high school game. Because again, we don't have instant replay. If we have a play like that, it's like whatever we call is what we call. I mean, even like Division II, Division III, yeah, you got your local school broadcast or whatever, but you don't have replay.
yeah. I almost sometimes wish we didn't have replay.
Yeah, then the world may never know if we got it right or wrong.
You say
I'm
that,
kind of a
Jim, until there's a play that
yeah, I
you
know.
know in
I
your heart of
know.
hearts should be overturned or should have been called differently, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll be clamoring for it again.
And that's
Yep.
the thing that always like I never really stopped to think about it till after the fact. It's like, yeah, we're watching all these replays and breaking it down slow mo and say, okay, where's the ball here? Where's the ball there? It's like try calling that shit live.
Yeah, Nate.
It's not fun.
I imagine. I imagine it's not. Oregon takes down UCLA 34-13.
And Oregon's finally starting to find their web footing.
Are we really saying that though? And I kind of thought that was what people were going to say, but like that's UCLA.
Yeah, I get that, but
I mean,
I mean,
you beat Michigan State, Jim.
I covered the spread.
You beat Michigan State. I think UCLA and Michigan State are a good matchup. That's what I'm getting at.
I guess allowing 13 points to be put on you when you're supposed to be Oregon, the second coming. I don't. That's how I feel.
It's fair. I mean, it's going to be settled here in a couple weeks, huh?
Yeah, trust me. And
Uh,
Michigan State plays Oregon this week, so we'll see.
I have a measuring stick there. Utah loses to Arizona 23-10.
I felt like this was coming.
Wah,
Cam
wah.
Rising ever going to play again? I feel like it's the same song and dance every year now. It's like I saw he was out again this week.
I didn't know if he was playing or not.
He's fucking apply for another red shirt and be like that dude down in Miami.
Yeah. His 9th year. He's got 2 masters working towards a PhD.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know what he's holding on for. Like, I wouldn't sign him as an NFL owner.
Well, that's why he's holding on. He's not going to play next level. So he's got to ride this college thing out as long as he can.
maybe get some NIL money. Just get what you can out of it.
Continue to go to all these college parties.
Get a doctorate.
Hey, do what you got to do. But I agree. I saw Utah going down at some point.
Yeah, they just couldn't hold on.
Yeah. Michigan takes down Minnesota 27-24. I believe still under 100 passing yards for Orgy in this game.
Orgy's bad. Orgy's real bad.
Well, it's not bad as those Minnesota helmets I sent you.
They were nice. Very nice. I thought Minnesota played well. I think
They still rowing. They still rowing the boat in Minnesota.
They're still trying. Still trying. But they're Minnesota. They can't get that NIL money.
No, they're one of those programs, kind of like WVU, where they're just kind of be stuck there.
Yep.
13 USC beats Wisconsin 38-21.
I don't know what it's going to take for USC to be elite. I don't know. Their offense is so quick. They're really, really good, but like defensively, I think they can be scored upon pretty easy. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal. They're not intimidating. I don't get it.
I don't think they've had really intimidating defense for years now.
That's what I mean. Like, so how does he go about fixing it?
Well, I know they got a new defensive coordinator this year. So it might just take getting the right recruits or the right transfers in.
That would be if I was him, that's what I'd focus on.
Jim, you said something about Fickle in this one?
Oh, fuck. I forgot about this.
Bad coach.
God, he is dog shit. Dog shit. And like, I was watching the game. It was 4th down. He's going to go for it. I said he's going to run it right up the middle. Luke Fickle's going to run this ball right up the middle. Here it comes. What did he do? Run it right up the middle. He is predictable. Just go watch the whole season where he coached Ohio State, because that's the playbook. It is ridiculous. Like, Luke, this isn't the Big Ten from when you played. Stop. He's just outdated in the way he styles. I'm sure he'd be a great linebacker coach. Maybe, not bad for a defensive coordinator, but offensively, ugh. He just doesn't translate. I'm sorry. He doesn't need to be there.
Okay. LSU beats South Alabama 42-10. And another ranked matchup, Notre Dame beats Louisville.
Squeaks by, survives.
Yeah, they were gifted some turnovers early in this game that they took full advantage of.
Yep.
Why squeaks by? Why? You have an angle here, Jim?
I just think that's what needs to be said. Like, I don't want to hear, well, they beat a ranked opponent.
Well, they did.
No, they squeaked
That's
by.
the truth. They beat him.
They got lucky.
They won.
Marcus Freeman should be in Wisconsin. That's who should go to Wisconsin.
That's a downgrade to go from Notre Dame to Wisconsin.
That's where he should. That's where he goes. That's where he should be.
What does RZ mean?
Red zone.
Red zone, dear.
She's worried about her fantasy team, but Derrick Henry just scored his second touchdown of the night.
Ooh. Clemson stock is up as they beat Stanford 40-14.
I can't listen to this anymore. This is terrible. Up.
It is Stanford, up. Hey, I'm just saying, man. I telling you, I got stock in them. I'm ready. They're gonna make the playoff.
All right, let's put that down in the record books. Muff says that Clemson's making the playoff after week 5.
Heard it here. If this is the only thing we have in that record book, I will be severely disappointed for all of the other things that Alex and Jim have ever said that we say we're going to keep track of. Yeah, this is the one thing that's going to stick out.
I think they're going to struggle against Florida State this weekend.
Oh, doubtful.
In 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, depending on how you're looking at it. On the 19th, they might struggle against Virginia. They may struggle against Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt, South Carolina. I mean, they could be something in 2 and still get in, I suppose.
They're the ACC champs. They're
They still
in.
gotta get through Boston College though.
Oh my God,
They
that's
would have to get through Miami in the championship game with the way
Yeah.
this panning
Correct.
out right.
Yep.
Who's
That's it.
Boston College have to play?
I don't care. Why do I care about Boston College? Get them out of my screen. Iowa State takes down Houston 20.
Well, how does that work?
What?
So Boston College could run the table. Clemson could run the table. Boston College could run the table, or Boston College, Clemson, and Miami could all run the table. And I'm pretty sure they don't play. The three of them don't play each other.
Whatever their first tiebreaker is. If it's overall record, then it would be Miami, and then I don't know, whatever the tiebreakers dictate.
Oh, I
Higher
want to know what
rank.
that is.
Probably higher rank.
Probably higher rank. Probably.
Yeah.
That means bullshit. Okay. It's rigged.
Kansas State puts a whooping on Oklahoma State 42-20. This is the Kansas State team that Alex says if they show up,
Yep.
they're good.
Yep.
That's what happened in this one. Oklahoma takes out Auburn 27-21.
I know it's not the typical Auburn, but I think that's a good win for Oklahoma to get that SEC win under their belt.
I agree with that. It's a good take. They didn't look great, but it's a good take.
BYU beats Baylor 34-28. I think
You
BYU
know,
is the next team that it's like Utah. They're going to get beat out of this at some point.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. I get it, but
Don't they have to run into SMU? Isn't
No.
that a thing with them?
I have no idea.
No, SMU joined the ACC.
But it's not that a rivalry. Yeah, they do. And they lost. So BYU's already beat them. All right. Fair enough.
Texas A&M beats Arkansas 21-17.
Okay.
Arkansas was in it for a while. It was a back and forth. I think Arkansas didn't have the steam towards the end.
And lastly, 25 Boise State beats Washington State 45-24.
Who the hell stayed up for this?
Listen,
I don't know, but Boise's got a dude at running back.
yeah, they have a guy. He's NFL ready, is what everybody's
Nobody
saying.
stays awake for that.
He had about 250 yards rushing, I think 4 touchdowns, and if he was on the East Coast, he would be on that Heisman watch list for everybody.
Well, let's get him in the transfer portal.
I don't know what class he is. Honestly, don't know.
Let's get him.
In the last game, which is only more fun when Alex is around, Colorado takes down UCF 41-21.
Yeah.
Travis
I'm
Hunter
big
has another
sad.
strong showing.
Where's Alex?
He's right there. Don't you see he's operating?
Yeah, he's in the operating room. Travis Hunter has a touchdown reception, an interception towards the end of the game. Question for the group. What does Colorado's record need to be in order for Hunter to get serious consideration for the Heisman?
12-0.
Oh.
How many wins do they have to have for him to get true consideration? Is 8 enough?
No, I think you got to get to double digits.
So
They go 10-2 and make it an appearance in the Big 12 championship game. I think maybe there's just so much extra bullshit noise that comes along with Colorado.
By serious consideration, you mean an invite to New York?
we'll say he's in the top 6. I would say that's serious.
I think he's probably flirting with that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's the top 3 in odds on FanDuel.
Is he top 3 in odds?
Yeah.
I bet they're farming money on those bets right now. That would be my guess. They want people to bet on that. Okay,
You
yeah.
got Kansas State, Arizona,
So
Cincinnati,
yes, to
Texas
your
Tech.
question, Jim, how many wins they have to have for him to get an invite to New York?
10,
Then what Nate was saying, that would be double digits.
and I think he can do it.
I mean, listen, as far as I'm considered, he's the most valuable player in college football right now.
I mean, honestly, I think he can do it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Did any of you all see that Cam Newton was at this game
And he brushed
pregame?
him off. Somebody brushed him
Yeah.
off.
They both brushed him off. Shadur and Travis Hunter brushed him off pregame. I thought that was kind of funny because I don't know if that was staged or anything, but it looked like Cam was ready to engage in a conversation and maybe go clout chasing a little bit in this, and they're like, "No, get away from me."
Yeah, it's always something, isn't it?
I don't
So
blame him.
yeah, it's at that point like, get away. What? There's nothing that they don't benefit from having an affiliation with Cam Newton in this situation. They got Dion on the team, like.
Yeah, and if Cam's gonna do something, like come see him like pregame before they even get their pads on, not when they're like literally taking like pregame warm ups and shit and
Mhm.
all that, when all the cameras and shit are out there. Like if you want to see him like before the game as they're coming out the tunnel, you don't need to be out there. Like what the hell was Cam doing there anyway? He didn't go to UCF.
And looking like goddamn Beetlejuice.
Jim, that's his normal outfits.
Looks
If
ridiculous.
you see his podcasts, that's his line. He has a fashion line, and that's like the trademark items, the hat, and the shirt combos. So
I don't know. I've seen some TikToks of him explaining some stuff football wise, and they've been pretty good.
there it is. All right, we have the new AP came out this week. The AP top 25, the top 10. Bama moves up to number 1, Texas down to number 2, Ohio State stays at 3, Tennessee moves up to 4, Georgia goes down to 5. Then we round it out with Oregon, Penn State, Miami, Missouri, and Michigan. Bama worthy to go to number 1 after the win this week?
No, but I understand it.
I think the only reason they're there is because that's like the only teams in the top 10 that has like a good like top 4 win. Nobody else has really played anybody yet.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Michigan has a ranked win. Penn State has a ranked win. Does Missouri? I don't think Missouri has one yet.
No, but again, I think Bama, Georgia was 2 versus 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has another top 10 versus top 10 game.
No.
Texas and beat Michigan. I think Michigan was in the top 10.
When they were in top 10.
Yeah.
Tennessee beat Oklahoma, but Oklahoma was like 13 or 14 at that point, I think. So, I mean, it is the best win of the year so far. So,
What I think, I'm just going to give this little teaser. I think when we get to the end, when the championship's awarded, if we trace back the path of the playoffs and the rankings, I think you're going to see some tomfoolery.
explain.
I think
Example.
you're going to see the positioning of these preseason rankings was kind of screwy.
Okay.
And I think expanding it to 12 allows for tomfoolery.
All right. The games will happen. Things will fall where they are, and there will be much speculation. Games of note in college football week 6. Iowa at Ohio State, UCLA at Penn State, Missouri traveling to Texas A&M, Clemson at Florida State, and WVU goes to Oklahoma State. Other games of note anybody has on their mind?
I'm interested in that Missouri Texas A&M game. Honestly, I'm interested in the WU game. Those are all exciting games to watch.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I mean, I think Missouri Texas A&M is the only unranked matchup this week. So a little bit of a down week as far as the top matchups, but it's college football. We'll still watch it.
Well, Jim, you can stay up and watch that Boise running back this week. They played 7
Ooh.
p.m. Eastern.
There
I
you
might
go.
record it and watch it Sunday morning.
There it is. There's the option. All right, let's get to our college football winners and losers for the week. I'm going to start with Alex. Read off what Alex sent to us. Winners for Alex are Bama for their win over Georgia and Kentucky. for giving Georgia a run and then knocking off Ole Miss. And Alex's loser is Ole Miss, more notably the kicker, because they lost to Kentucky.
Okay.
We'll go up, so we'll go Jim next.
My winner, undefeated Rutgers. Who would have thought it? Penn State's rival, undefeated. Love it. My loser, Old Miss, but specifically Lane Kiffin. You sent a tweet out bitching about Ohio State spending money on players, and then you go and lose to Kentucky. Keep your eyes on the prize and out of Ohio State's pockets. I still love you, Blue. You're my dog, but you opened yourself up for a lot of criticism.
Nate.
Winners for me this week are the service academies. Both Navy and Army, as we hinted earlier, are both 4-0. Things go right. That Commander's Trophy at the end of the year, when they play that in wherever they're playing now, if it's not Philly or Foxborough, it's going to be a really meaningful game, more so than ever. And for me, the losers this week, UNLV former quarterback, Matt Sluka.
Yep.
So he was the team starting quarterback as a grad transfer from Holy Cross. Team was 3-0 and ranked in the top 30 in the AP poll. And he decides, and this was news to everybody when he announced this, I'm going to take a redshirt year. I was promised, I think it was $100,000 in NIL money that he never received. So he said, you know what, guys, I'm out.
I think it's fair.
He did. There is, and I don't know if this is a narrative being pushed by UNLV, but there were teammates as well as people that were saying he was about to get benched within the next week or two anyway. And unfortunately for Sluka in this case, UNLV showed out with quarterback number 2 this week.
Yes, I mean, it's not like you're a huge quarterback that's going to probably go to the NFL, but you never know. I mean, I don't know. To me, this came off of kind of selfish, but again, if you were promised that and you never got it, that's kind of shady on UNLV's side. But then I also saw they said some other like third party was like, oh, that's all it takes to get him to stay here. Yeah, I'll put him that NIL money towards it. And UNLV's like, yeah, no, we're good.
Yep. Definitely gonna see more of this. There was a defensive lineman from USC that I think redshirted and is said he's entering the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting in the years to come as we see this more, how many more players do something similar now that they see the path.
Yeah, and UNLV also had a running back go to the portal because he said he wasn't getting enough playing time, so he's gonna hit the portal and take a redshirt year.
I think this will come to an end quickly.
Yeah, I think the NCAA has to step in here and say, no, you can't just say you're going to redshirt because you're upset about playing time. You're upset by NIL. To me, like if you're going to redshirt, it needs to be you're not playing all year and you can play in the bowl game or whatever, or it's a medical. Quit trying to take advantage of the system.
Yeah, I think this will hit ahead here soon.
Well, that red shirt's something that's just been put in recently. Like that you just get that red shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be justified or supported.
Well, there's congressmen starting to rumble about it. You got Nick talking about it on game day. I think that NCAA president's now crying about it. He's urging Congress to do something about it. I think we're going to see some changes.
All right, and my winners.
Although, wait.
Oh, well.
Unionization. That's the only thing that could throw a monkey wrench in this.
Yes, it could.
And that would be cool.
That would be interesting. I agree. My winners and losers this week. My winners, the Penn State offensive line and the Yard Boys running it down Illinois' throat throughout the game. And my loser is Jackson Fart's Heisman hopes. Sorry about it, Jim.
I hear you.
That's my loser.
I think the Heisman should be awarded. Like, and that's another question I have. So if the playoffs
Playoffs?
are we going to count the semis in the Heisman contention?
I think it's a regular season award
Yeah, I
still.
think that's stupid.
Well, it's just like the NFL. They have the regular season MVP. Now, I think it would be cool if the college football playoff put in a college football playoff MVP,
Oh, yeah. Good point,
right?
Muff.
Then it would be like the NFL where
Yeah.
you have the regular season and then you have the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, I like that. Good call, Muff.
I don't know if they're doing that. They may already be doing that.
I like that, though.
All
If
right.
they do it, it's your idea.
If they aren't doing it now and then they do it, I will say trademark, TM, TM.
Yep.
Other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
Staying
was
in
reading.
That.
I was reading what's coming up, and my mind was thinking.
Also in the college football world, Nate, take it away.
So I didn't get much of a chance to read into this first point, but saw the headline that Reggie Bush is suing USC, the Pac-12, the NCAA for NIL compensation.
Reggie, take your trophy, get your trophy, and stop. You're
For
gonna
real,
end
I
up
was thinking the same thing.
you're gonna end up wrecking college football. Absolutely wrecking it.
But yeah, you got your Heisman back. Just go be in the Heisman commercial and relax.
It's just gonna be terrible.
It's like your time has come. Goodbye.
Because what's gonna happen when if he does win this, then every pro football player can come back, give me my money. It's gonna be awful.
We'll see where this ends up. And then we have the Pac-12 and the Mountain West in some confrontation. I think you've done a little bit more reading up on this one, Nate.
Yes. So after the Pac-2 now becomes the Pac-6 or Pac-7 or whatever, they basically have taken all these Mountain West teams, and the conferences apparently had a scheduling agreement that they have since announced that they will conclude at the end of this season. The Mountain West still has 43 million coming for the Pac-12, as well as 68 million in exit fees for those members that have decided to leave, which are Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. Then I saw a tweet from Brett McMurphy that said that Utah State is going to be the next to jump ship, and UNLV was going to be under consideration. So I still think they need to change it to the Pac State Conference because everybody there is somebody's state, because they already have Washington State and Oregon State. And then there were rumblings that they were going to try to take some American Conference schools, Memphis, Tulane, USF, and UTSA. And then the four schools with the AAC put out a joint tweet stating that they declined invitations and basically said, "We are the American Conference."
Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, this is going to get
messy.
Yeah. I mean, how long is all of this jockeying going to take? How long do we think? 2, 3, 4 years before we finally figure all this out?
Yeah, because I also saw too, with Utah State going, I think they need one more school to join the Pac-12 for football in order to basically get that FBS level back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is going to continue to be just a train wreck because you're going to get one or two more conferences that are stronger, and then the shit's just going to fall to the bottom. It's going to be like what happens in like a water purifying plant. Like all the crap just gets to the bottom. It gets shaken out.
Sounds about right.
Good reference.
So, there's going to be a lot in this. I think the money's going to be the biggest thing that we hear about because that's going to be what people care about, at least the conferences and the teams and the programs and the schools. So, I don't know. TBD. In the golf world, the President's Cup happened over this past weekend as the United States.
That's a thing?
It did.
Who knew?
The United States
Muff
took
They
it
knew.
didn't
down.
advertise it.
I don't think you would have found it anyway, Jim,
Nobody told me how. Wasn't on any television.
because you frequent the Golf Channel.
I mean, that's what I'm saying though. Like you can only see it on the Golf Channel.
No, I think there were some NBC throughout the weekend as well, or
How would I have
The
gotten
NBC
it?
networks. I'm not gonna say on NBC, the
So it might
NBC
have been on the
networks.
Peacock.
That's possible. I didn't watch
Well,
any
it
of
would
it,
have
but I kept up
buffered
with
for
it.
an hour before you could have found it.
The United States takes down the international team 18.5 to 11.5. Back and forth in the first 2 days. USA jumped out 5-0 after day one. International squad tied it after day two, 5-5. And then the USA poured it on down the stretch as Captain Keegan Bradley was
Who?
the match clinching win.
Keegan Bradley.
Keegan Bradley, Jim. No, Jim, there were not live golfers.
Golf is dead.
I mean, it's September, October. Golf is not dead. This is just not something. This is the Ryder Cup type thing. People get more excited
Nobody
about the Ryder
cares
Cup.
about golf but Muff.
That's not true. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, Jim.
Because we attach it to clubs like people like you that go out there and smash the ball around, but the actual interest in these people is ugh.
Speaking of people that Jim says ugh about, Jake Paul suiting up
That
in a
Jim
fat
Brown.
suit. I haven't seen all these videos, these fat suit videos. I saw him bench pressing in one,
Yeah,
but
that's the one that I saw. I'm like, why is this a thing?
Jim, have you seen anything else? I don't know if
That's
it's
all
on
I saw was the
TikTok.
bench pressing thing.
Okay. I feel like there's more to come. I feel like you get in that fat suit for a day and you just pump out content and then just spoon feed it to people.
He's an idiot.
In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was voted unanimous Rookie of the Year. I think after Angel Reese went down with an injury, this was the expected outcome. In Angel Reese related news, the Chicago Sky fired head coach Teresa Witherspoon after one season. They did not improve from last season. The Chicago Sky did not, even with the addition of Angel Reese and get her name from South Carolina, Cardosa.
Yeah, Ella Cardosa.
Yeah. So Teresa Witherspoon is out. The playoffs are happening. The Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark were eliminated round one. But I don't have much to tell you other than that, aside from the Las Vegas Aces, most likely going to be the winners.
Okay.
So you're not keeping up with it either, Jim?
Nope.
Okay. In baseball, all of the potentially bad things have happened this week, aside from the playoffs starting, which Nate, I'm sure, has a little bit more on. The White Sox set the single season losses record, losing 121 games, besting or worsting, however you want to think about it, the previous mark by one game, which was 120 losses by the Mets in 1962.
They
CJ,
suck.
it wasn't the Pirates.
I feel bad for Pirates fans.
I know. You've said that multiple times.
It's never going to end.
In Pirates news, though, the Pirates DFA designated for assignment Rowdy Tellez 4 at-bats short of a $200,000 bonus. Only then, after public outrage and discussion within the baseball community about this is why you can't get and hold on to good players in free agency, they then bench Isaiah Kiner Falefa in the last game of the season, who was 4 at-bats short of a $250,000 bonus. This, Jim, this right here is why. It's tough to be a Pirates fan.
Baseball's dumb.
But the Pirates still have Paul Skeens, who finishes the year with an 11-3 record on 23 starts, 1.96 ERA, and 170 strikeouts, and 133 innings pitched. Nate, is he the Rookie of the Year?
I don't know who would beat that. I mean, I've seen some other names come up, but I mean, with all the hype, he lived up to it, was a starter for the All-Star game. I think he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, he only pitched 2 innings in the last game. I'm assuming that was to hit some inning mark that was required for certain awards.
Well, I think he actually had a thing in his contract that if he pitched more than 2 innings or had more strikeouts, he's getting paid. So
Oh, so they let him get paid.
I don't know. I'm just saying that given the other two, it's like, oh no, we can't do that either. But I did see it was weird, but um, I mean, for people not in baseball, doesn't really understand. So Jared Jones the night before had pitched and got pulled, and then they designated him to the Florida Complex League to bring up another pitcher to basically promote him to pitch that game. I think he actually came and pitched after Skeens. But it was just basically a roster move to get a guy to debut at the end of the year in a meaningless game for shits and giggles, I guess. But
yeah, I don't think that had any bearing on anything for Jones in his contract, though.
no,
Yeah.
it did not. I mean, it was just one of those moves, and then people that don't understand it's like, oh my god, what the heck are they doing now? They optioned him down to blah blah blah. It's like, guys, it's just a roster move just to get a guy up here.
Yeah, get him some big league experience at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The Oakland Athletics played their last game in Oakland Coliseum. That
To a
ended with
sellout crowd.
it was a sellout crowd. You're right, and with multiple fans taking chances getting on the field during the game. Also, people trying to take seats from the stands, which an unaffiliated soccer team, the Oakland Roots, tweeted out asking the fans to leave them there since they're going to be playing their home games next year in the Coliseum.
Please leave our stands.
That place just needs condemned.
It does. But they're going to squeeze the last bit they can out of it, apparently, for an unaffiliated soccer team, the Oakland Roots. The playoffs are upon us, Nate. Don't we have a double header on Monday that has some significance?
Yeah, it has big significance. The Mets and the Braves play a doubleheader for makeup games. And I'm trying to remember the results I saw. I should have screenshotted it. But it comes down to those two teams and the Diamondbacks. And depending on the outcome of those doubleheaders tomorrow, determines who gets into the wild card. I want to say it was like if they split the doubleheader, they both get in. If I can't remember, I think if the Braves win both, then the Braves are in and the Diamondbacks are in. And I can't remember the other way that the Diamondbacks get in. But if they split, the Diamondbacks are out. So Diamondbacks are just pulling for somebody to sweep, I think.
Yeah. All right, and that gets us into the end of the baseball season with the playoffs starting this week. And
yeah, it will start on Tuesday.
Okay. And we have within about the next 10 days, we have NHL opening night on October 8th. Amazon will be debuting their NHL version of Red Zone this week, leading up to the beginning of the regular season. Nate, is there anything of note happening within these first weeks of the NHL season?
Now, I know the Pens have their home opener next Wednesday. I don't know if it's the 8th or the 9th. But that just means we're getting into ultimate sports viewing season.
Yes.
I always say that October is the best month for sports because football's in full swing, hockey's coming back, basketball, for those of you who care, is coming back. And what was the one I was forgetting? And baseball playoffs are here.
Yep.
So, I mean, really, once we get to mid-October, it's like peak sports season.
It is. And that last league that Nate mentioned that we don't talk about too awfully much on this show, the NBA, will start on October 22nd. But I know we don't care too much about that. But we now have Nikola Jokic comments and content coming back as during Media Day, to answer a question, he said, and I quote, "Every year it's the same thing, and I don't know why we are doing it every year." Jim, can you get behind Nikola Jokic on this one?
Yeah, I agree.
He says, "Why do I have to come back early? I could have been at home with my horses."
I agree with him.
All right, anything else to chat about?
Nah, I'm good.
No NASCAR? There's nothing going on in the fight world?
No, I was looking for stuff. That's about all I got.
All right, that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, minus Alex. Remember, you can subscribe at Sports Jim Muff or Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on YouTube. Make sure you, as Jim says,
Get the bell on.
get that bell on. Make sure we go up, 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 and away to the moon, past the moon, to the stars, and other galaxies. And to do that, you need to tell a friend, make a friend, be
Uh,
a
Friend.
friend.